What's up guys, Noor here and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. I'm really excited to be starting this new series and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be purely community driven. So this series will be called Book of Showtime and it works like such. You guys, the community, will give me interesting questions and conversation starters, and basically I just make a video covering them, and it could be anything from sports, movies, video games, pop culture, or just commentaries on what's going on in the world. I'm really excited for this series, and I think it's it's a lot more intimate in theme than the podcast, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And let me know what you think. This is basically a pilot episode, so let me know if you guys enjoyed this, and without further ado, let's just get right in. So my brother Weaver asked, is Steph Curry top 10 of all time? And if not, how many more rings must Steph Curry get to become top 10? And then, is Steph Curry the greatest point guard of all time? This is basically a three-part question, and parts 1 and 3 are kind of connected, so what I really want to focus on is the middle part. A lot of people think that rings are an important factor in determining a player's greatness, and I think while rings can help in an argument, they're not the X factor that people think it is. There are a lot of all-time great players that don't have rings. Allen Iverson does not have a ring. Charles Barkley does not have a ring. Steve Nash, 2 MVPs, no rings. And on the other side of the coin, you have guys like Robert Horry, who just happen to be in the right place at the right time. I don't think anyone is saying Robert Horry is a top 10 power forward or a top 15 power forward, maybe a top 20, I don't know. But I don't know, Robert Horry's not coming up in the all-time greats conversation at his position or ever, really, so that point is moot. When it comes to winning rings, sometimes a bit of luck comes into it, and then also it's timing. Since the topic of this video is Steph Curry will bring in his first ring in 2015, where a lot of people have criticized that ring because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were hurt. I wouldn't use that as a detraction from a ring's greatness. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you just don't have players. The NBA season is long, and players do get hurt a lot in the playoffs. It happens. On the other side of the coin, how many dynasties were stopped because LeBron James had a grasp on the Eastern Conference for a long time? You don't just make 8 straight finals without killing a few budding dynasties and rising superstars along the way. Same thing went for Steph Curry and the Warriors. The Warriors made the finals every year from 2015 to 2019, basically doing the same thing that LeBron James was doing in the East for years. So while having these rings are nice, and honestly I think Steph Curry's most recent ring is why he's in this greatest point guard conversation, I think rings do add to the legend, but I'm not going to hold, if a player doesn't have a ring, I'm not going to hold it against him. So to go back to Weaver's first and third question, is Steph Curry a top 10 player? Is Steph Curry the greatest point guard of all time? And the answer to those questions are yes. I think, in my honest opinion, Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. The comparisons are going to be Steph Curry versus Magic Johnson, and where to me, Magic Johnson's a very great player. He has a very versatile game. But when you look at individual skill sets and what separates players, there are many players who have come and gone and are in the league today who can pass as good as Magic, if not better in some cases. Magic did pioneer that style of play, the way he played, the way he passed. He did pioneer that. But now that's kind of what is expected of a serviceable, of a good point guard. You're supposed to be able to pass like that. The no-look passes on fast break, the pinpoint accuracy on the lobs, passing out of the post, and the way he ran the offense and was a floor general. That's basically what is expected of an all-star point guard today. Magic Johnson is very good in those regards. There's been people who have been better at him at those aspects. No one has been better than Steph Curry at three-point shooting. No one. In just 12 seasons, he's the all-time three-point leader. Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, who both played 18 seasons apiece, didn't even crack the 3K mark. Every three-pointer that Steph Curry makes going forward is now his story, because that's the record. I mean, the guy put up 400 threes in one season. Come on. 400 3-pointers. That is insane to think about. Like it just seems like it's such a my career stat. Not to mention, Steph Curry was the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. Michael Jordan never did that. Shaq never did that. LeBron James never did that. These are all-time legends. These are all players to me who are better than Steph Curry, and they never accomplished that feat. And honestly, where Magic might have another ring at this point and another MVP at this point, Steph Curry's resume is still pretty good. Curry's resume includes 4 rings, a Finals MVP, 2 MVPs, 8 All-Stars, 8 All-NBA team selections, 2 3-point contest wins, which honestly he can win that every year if he really wanted to. A pair of scoring titles. He was the steals leader in 2016 and in the 50, 40, 90 club in 2016. He had a pair of gold medals in the FIBA World Cup for good measure. The thing about Steph Curry to me is that this is only his 12th season, so if we come back in 5 years, I mean, he might be in the top 5 all-time player conversation easily, you know. I think he's a top 10 player. As to where I would rank him, I don't know off the top of my head. He would definitely be, you know, I think he would be in the top 5 or 6 conversation, but like I said, I have to look at a list of players, I have to think about it, but I do think he's in that conversation. I do think he's a top 10 player, and I do think he's the greatest point guard of all time. Alright guys, that's it for the first installment of Book of Showtime. Let me know if you enjoy it, and if you enjoy this concept, if you enjoy this series, and if you have any suggestions of what you want me to cover next, let me know. I'm really excited for this series, so I hope you guys can get excited for it too, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Inshallah, I will see you next time.